Hey there guys, I'm SonicGhost and welcome back to some more Let's Play Mega Man Maverick Hunter X. Last time we started up X's hard mode and now we're ready to continue on with Storm Eagle.
Storm Eagle.
Beginning mission.
So this stage has a total of 3 different collectibles for us. So we're going to be getting ourselves a heart tank right away, a sub tank, and most importantly for this run, the armor upgrade. We desperately need the armor upgrade if the beginning 15-ish minutes are anything to go by here of this said run. Any extra damage we can take, I would prefer right now. So we're going to be grabbing ourselves everything we can along the way. Hopefully we can fill up this sub tank sooner rather than later, because having a full sub tank early on would be really nice. So we're going to be focused on any health drops if we see them as well, trying to stay at full health if possible. That's the exception. I'm not going for the health drop that fell into the void. That just doesn't sound like a good idea. We're going to ride this pillar straight up, burn this window open, and right here we got ourselves a sub tank. Fall down. Nice health drop. Probably not the best idea to fire wave these moving platforms for the enemies on them, but I find it easier to just take these things out immediately. These flamethrower enemies are just kind of a problem. This one I can actually skip altogether, because now I just want to burn this specific set of platforms to get myself another life. And then we can just climb the wall to get out of here. So for now, before we go any further in the stage, drop down here specifically. With our helmet upgrade, we can go up top of this route, and we got ourselves our armor upgrade. With hard mode just beating us left and right every single time I turn around, this is going to be a savior. So essentially by getting this, now we're back in the normal mode difficulties level of damage. While that doesn't sound super impressive, it will really make a big difference, especially with the Mavericks. So now we're at the end of the stage, it's time for us to fight Storm Eagle. So let me charge up my Buster shot here, because if you can, enter every single boss fight with a fully charged shot ready to go, as it's going to make things a lot easier, especially if you're going to do a Buster only run of any kind. Thankfully, the Storm Tornado attack is the least threatening attack possible. It's a problem if we're at the very edge of a ledge, but in the middle of the arena, it's not really that big of a deal. This attack, though, not really too much I can do to avoid it. Just kind of a pain, if you want to be honest. Pay attention to sound cues here, specifically when Storm Eagle is flying around the arena, because depending where he is, then that you can easily hear in your left or your right speaker. I'm careful here, I won't have to use my sub tank, because he's almost dead, but so am I. There we go, barely. If I got hit one more time, that would have been it for me. But thankfully, that's it for Storm Eagle.
Mission accomplished.
So now we got ourselves our next weapon here, which will be super helpful, as it's the best weapon in the game, in my opinion. Storm Tornado. This will chew through every single enemy's health bar. So you see me use this a lot. So now we got ourselves our armor upgrade. Let's go over the Chameleon stage, as there's one more upgrade to X to complete his arsenal. So let's do it.
Chameleon.
I'm beginning the mission.
So immediately gonna just use our Storm Tornado here and just destroy every single enemy's health bar. Except that guy, he can live. Let's climb straight up, and from here, we got ourselves a mini-boss to fight. This is guarding our final capsule upgrade here for X. So we want to fight this robot, which you can use charge shots to hit its head, although the weak spot is extremely small. So I'll just use a Storm Tornado shot, and it'll just completely destroy the guy in one hit. That's another reason why it was good to go after Storm Eagle first, because of Storm Tornado specifically for this stage, makes this mini-boss a joke. But now we got ourselves the charge upgrade, so now we can charge our Buster to another level, doing more damage, but more importantly, we can also charge up sub-weapons and get a secondary effect. So, for X, we can use our Shotgun Ice here, for example, make a platform, and use this to get to the other side of this cliff, which just barely gives you enough of a gap to jump onto the wall and grab ourselves a heart tank here. Otherwise, we would have to backtrack to the stage after beating Launch Octopus. So, because we had ourselves the charge upgrade now, we can just use that to our advantage. I'm going to use Fire Wave to save a little bit on that Storm Tornado energy. Thankfully, with our helmet upgrade, all the rocks falling on our head just get immediately destroyed. And that will just completely destroy all the trees here, which does kind of make you feel a little bit like a monster, but the robot trees. Everything in this world is robotic. If I can just get like 1 drop of health, then I can start filling up another sub-tank here, and that'd be really helpful. I don't know if that's gonna happen though, because health drops for me in hard mode just seem to be a suggestion. Thankfully, a suggestion that the game agreed with. Thank you. Nice, a big upgrade. Another one. So we almost have a sub-tank filled at this point. That's really gonna be helpful for later on. And heck, it's gonna even be helpful maybe even for this mini-boss, or this stage boss, I should say. Because, I'm gonna be honest, fighting Sting Chameleon without his weapon, not gonna be fun. I would have preferred having Boomerang Cutter, but that's not until later.
I'm ready.
So, he's already starting off with the spike attack. Honestly, kind of a really scary attack in hard mode. We want to keep our distance here because the tongue attack from Sting Chameleon will do a lot of damage even with our armor. So just try to stay away from the boss as much as possible. And really got to pay attention to where this guy is going to be teleporting around. A little too close for comfort. Take 1 hit from his actual Sting Chameleon attack itself. Oh, how did that miss? There we go. So I must have aimed a little too low in the last attack. So far, a pretty good pattern. I was coming over to make nice fake out. Honestly, the fake outs are some of the worst things to deal with this boss because I really don't like wasting charge shots. He's been doing a lot of just teleporting style attacks. He hasn't actually latched onto the walls and done the spike attack much, if not at all, outside of the first hit. That was a weird fight.
Mission accomplished.
Alright, so now for defeating Sting Chameleon, we get his weapon, which is just Chameleon Sting. Not the most creative name. But honestly, the weapon itself I don't find too much use for. Although you can angle the shot, which can help for certain enemies if you can't hit them too easily with your Buster. But we will be using the charge variant of that a lot because of the invincibility. And speaking of that, it'll be really useful here in our next stage, which is the Fortress Tower. So let's go fight Boomerang Kuwanger.
Boomerang Kuwanger.
So right away, let's swap over to Chameleon Sting and charge it up. Because right in the very beginning, This is going to be one of the reasons why this specific weapon is super helpful to have along with the Charge Buster. So for hard mode specifically, having invincibility like this is a really nice thing. If everything's just hurting like a truck, I'll take anything I can get. We will be using a lot of weapon energy with this though, so we will have to be careful about that. Probably try to route in some more weapon and refills here and there if we can. Thankfully we got ourselves a health drop, which is going to be helpful. That sub-tank should be just about full. I know I said that at the end of Sting Chameleon stage, but based on how many big drops we've been getting, it's got to be basically like 1 to 2 drops away full. So I want to be careful not to get crushed in this room, because that will be an insta-kill. So I'm going to try to kind of stay like around, let's just say, 20 feet away from the spikes. I just don't trust myself. Now we're at the end of our elevator ride. Charge up Chameleon Sting here. Use it after you get off a ladder, not the frame you get off, because as you notice when I tried to use this entering the stage, it just canceled itself out and didn't work. If you use it the moment you get off a ladder, the animation of X getting off of the ladder itself cancels your charge shot. So it's just kind of a waste of your time. But just wait a second and then use your charge shot once you get off the ladder fully. Now we're at the end of this climbing section. We got ourselves a heart tank here, which is pretty tricky to get, but with a well-timed jump, you can actually get it using shotgun ice here. So thankfully, we don't have to come back for that because you're actually required to use Boomerang Kuwanger's weapon to get that heart tank, but that is a backtrack that you can just skip, thankfully. We had just enough weapon energy to use up our Chameleon Sting to climb this long vertical shaft, which is perfect. And before we enter the room, just wait for X to charge, and now enter Boomerang Kuwanger's lair. This fight here will be our last fight without having all the weaknesses for every boss we're going to be fighting, so after this, I don't have to worry about charging my Buster every single time I enter a boss's lair. I will say, fighting Boomerang Kuwanger with Buster only isn't really that bad because you do stun him with a charge shot. So that extra little time you have when you stun the boss is going to really help. Also pay attention to where the boomerang's being thrown because you can actually jump around its radius and just bait it to the top of the room if you know what you're doing. There you go. Simple. That's it for the Boomerang Man.
Mission accomplished.
So, now for beating Boomerang Kuwanger, we got the cleverly named Boomerang Cutter. This is how we're supposed to be getting a lot of pickups in the game, as this will allow us to grab things just out of reach for X. We will be actually using this in a stage soon enough, but you're also supposed to use it in Boomerang Kuwanger stage, as mentioned earlier. Let's make our way now to our next stage here, the electromagnetic power plant. Let's fight the easiest Maverick using his weakness, Spark Mandrill.
Spark Mandrill.
I'm beginning the mission.
So because we defeated Storm Eagle, we don't have to worry about the electric current in this stage, but there is a new hazard of we can't see. So you take away a hazard and you make a new one. For now, let's just grab ourselves that sub-tank through the wall. Boomerang Kuwanger is going to be used a lot here, specifically for the sub-tank and the hard tank. Well, thankfully, we don't have to backtrack for this stage, but if you didn't have either one of those, I do believe it is possible to get the hard tank without it. It's just really, really precise. Sub-tank, on the other hand, you do need the Boomerang Cutter to get. There's no way around that. Kind of hoping for a health drop after that, but let me charge up the Storm Tornado here and just release that right in the center of the room to do a lot of damage to this mini-boss. This guy would have actually had an extra attack if we didn't defeat Storm Eagle first. So because we turned off the electricity in the stage by crashing Storm Eagle's ship into the area, this guy has one less attack. And that's good, because that attack actually is pretty dangerous. A couple more hits and this thing should be defeated, and sure enough, there it goes. Nice tiny health. I'm fast enough, I can get through this whole room without having to charge this Chameleon Sting up again, so let's hurry up. And just enough. So right here, this shot's pretty precise because when you slide down the wall, the boomerang cutter goes down with you. But I found that if you just hold the dash button, it makes it more consistent to make your boomerang go straight up. So that makes that a little bit easier. Speaking of easy, you know what time it is. Time to be invincible. So this will be the last stretch of the stage, so if we get through this fast enough, I won't have to worry about charging up Chameleon Sting anymore, and we can just phase through all the enemies, just like so. And that's it for the stage. Now it's time for quite possibly one of the easiest Mavericks in the entire Mega Man X series, using his weakness, and I have to specify specifically using his weakness. Because this guy does put up a pretty decent fight if you don't hit him with Shotgun Ice. But with Shotgun, feel free to laugh. Because this is just comedy gold. Can't even move. He's lucky he gets one jump in.
This is what it's like.
What a joke of a Maverick.
Mission accomplished.
But now that we defeated Spark Mandrill and we got his weapon, the Electric Spark, we're going to end things here. Next time on Let's Play Mega Man Maverick Hunter X, we'll finish up the remaining Maverick Hunter stages here in hard mode. Thank you guys for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.